In 2026, the Springboks have to play England, Scotland, Wales. We have 4 tests up against the All Blacks in the Greatest Rivalries Tour. And then to finish off 2026, we have to take on the likes of Ireland and France in a massive European tour. So this is definitely going to be one of the hardest calendar years in recent Springbok memory. Plus, we have the World Cup just around the corner. So it's going to be imperative that we get the maximum amount of wins physically possible. Do you think the Springboks can go unbeaten the entire year? I certainly hope so. So drop it in the comment section below. Let's break down the fixture list for 2026 that it has been released. So let's get into it. First of all, starting off, we have England, Scotland, and then Wales all in July. England is definitely going to be a very, very difficult test as they are resurgent under Borthwick. They've had an absolutely amazing 2025 year, and they were near enough unbeatable. They didn't play the Springboks last year, and it's definitely going to be put into test. So with the likes of Henry Pollock, with the likes of Maro Toje as captain, Finn Smith, George Ford, and just a whole slew of other players along with Alex Coles, really putting in some serious performances. Will they have the likes to be able to beat to be able to beat the Springboks? I don't know, but I cannot wait to see it. Scotland is definitely going to be a very difficult one as well. They are very physical. We do know the likes of Pierre Schoeman very, very well. And this is always an amazing tie. I think the Springboks will be able to dispatch with them without, any serious problems. They haven't exactly been in the best of form lately. And I think it is going to come down to how well they play in the Six Nations and what kind of form that they pack up. But, this is going to be an interesting tie as always. But I think the Springboks will definitely dispatch of Scotland with relative ease. Wales is definitely going to be a little bit of a banana skin with their resurgence under Tandy getting their first win in God knows how long. They are definitely going to be one not to overlook because they do have teeth and they will bite. Again, it comes down to the Six Nations form, how well they play, how well they bond under Steve Tandy, but definitely not as clean as I would have liked it in previous years. So I think if we take this a little bit too lightly, we could be put on our backsides. But otherwise, I think England is going to be the only serious test in our July tests, with being really, really powerful. And if they manage to come away with a win of the Six Nations, that will definitely set them on the best foot to be able to come up against South Africa and come away with a win. So England is definitely going to be a very early banana skin that hopefully we can overcome quite quickly. Then moving on into the All Blacks, we have the 4 tests, greatest rivalry tour. Obviously, the All Blacks are going to be touring South Africa, so they are going to be playing some of our best clubs, and then we're going to see how this one plays out because the All Blacks they're going to be under new management. Only time will tell who ends up getting that job. I am kind of set on Jamie Joseph getting that position, but it's going to be a different play style. It's going to be a different system. It's going to be different tactics. It's going to be a different set of players. Obviously you do have the likes of Artie Surveyor, that he's just going to be in and around the squad. There's no two ways about that. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes back from international, who is now ready to play and who is eligible to play for the All Blacks and who is going to be moving on. So only time will tell. This one, I cannot wait. So keep an eye on that. I think that's going to be absolutely amazing. So the All Blacks, that is still very much up in the air. Scott Robertson, he had a very good win rate and he did beat us once last year. Even though it was at Eden Park, he still did manage to put a pretty good win up against us. So who's going to come in is going to be a different system, different style, different tactics, different players. Only time will tell. And I will make a video come closer once we have an idea on who is the new head coach for the All Blacks. The European tour is definitely going to be interesting because this one is where things really start to get fiery because we have Italy on the 7th of November and they are dangerous. They're very physical. They move the ball around very quickly. You have the likes of Menoncello, Todro, who's been in spectacular scoring form. You have just a whole slew of players that can just cause absolute damage. And they are definitely going to be a difficult side. But again, I think South Africa should dispatch them relatively easily. And hopefully we can put in maybe 20, 30 points past them. The next 2 tests to end the season is where things are really going to struggle because France on the 14th of November, This is a scary test. And then Ireland on the 21st of November. These tests always, you're always clenching your backside because you never know what side's going to be coming out. South Africa are pretty hardy. I think we are going to be uh, rotating quite a lot. But when it comes down to these two tests, I think we are going to be going full ball, not going to leave anything to chance, and make sure we come away with a big win. Because Ireland, especially under, if they manage to have a very, very good Six Nations, which, talking about that, if you guys do want to grab yourself some merch prior to the Six Nations, check out the description. I'll have a link for my Six Nations in the description below, and you grab yourself a bit of merch and some awesome discounts. So check that out. But Ireland are definitely going to be a difficult test. The likes of Caelan Doris, the likes of Van der Fleer, you have Jamison Gibson Park. However, Sam Prendergast starts to develop, Jack Crowley, James Lowe, Hugo Keenan, the Osbornes, whoever you want. They are stacked when it comes down to elite level players. And then the same thing for France. Antoine Dupont, hopefully he doesn't get injured. I want to be seeing him play up against the Springboks in the European tour. So hopefully he stays fully fit and ready to go. But then you have, the likes of Louis Bielbiaré, Damien Penaud, Tomo Ramos, Mofana. I mean, the list just goes on. Aldred, it's just stacked. Absolutely, absolutely stacked. So I'm hoping for some solid wins up against these two, and wins up against both of them will definitely set us in good stead for the 2027 World Cup and really solidify us as favorites. So if we can come away with big wins over the All Blacks, big wins over France, England, and Ireland, who pretty much make up the top four, I think we're going to be set and ready for the. I think we are going to be set and ready for the. For the 2027 World Cup. So what is the minimum that we can expect here? The minimum we can expect is a July series win. We want to be seeing at least coming close up against England, or putting in a narrow win. I think a narrow win is what we will be expecting up against England, because they are scary, and then the rest should be relatively simple to dispatch in Scotland and Wales. The All Blacks, I think if we can get a minimum of 2 wins, hopefully 3. I'm not expecting us to get all 4, because the All Blacks are the All Blacks, but we want to be getting a minimum of 2 wins up against the All Blacks, and then looking at a win up against France or Ireland, and then a win up against Italy. So if we lose maybe 2 tests this year, I think that would kind of be acceptable, especially considering there is going to be a lot of rotation. There's going to be a lot of players being developed, and Rassie's definitely going to be trying out a couple different tactics throughout the year in preparation for 2027, really getting a feel of everybody, where they're standing, and what kind of monsters we're going to have to face in the next year. So I cannot wait for this to happen, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in relation to this. And can the Springboks go all year without being beaten? We got a lot of big tests: England, France, Ireland, the All Blacks. They are going to be scary. There's a lot that's going to be changing, and I think in terms of the Northern Hemisphere teams, the Six Nations is definitely going to be playing a huge, huge part of it, because whoever comes away with winning the Six Nations, they are going to be flying, and South Africa are going to have to be playing all of them this year. So where do you think this where do you think this lies? How do you think South Africa are going to do in 2026? So drop your thoughts in the comment section below, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.